everybody, and welcome back to the Up the Guts podcast. Joining as always is your host, Trent D'Alton, and it is the review episode that we are recording right now. But as I did a couple of weeks ago with the split buy round, and now it's back again with the first game. Now I'm recording this, but the first quarter is just starting. I'm going to be doing it over 2 days of recording. So the Sunday being now 3 o'clock, and then I'm also going to do those games, and the games that are recorded. The games that are played on Sunday, I'll record Monday evening. So right now, what we're going to do, obviously, going to review every match of the round so far that has been played up to today, and then the two games that are playing today, which being Adelaide and Richmond and Adelaide, the MCG, then Fremantle and St Kilda at the Optus Stadium. We'll do them tomorrow. Then I'll just put a little transition in this video. If you watch this on YouTube or on Spotify our podcast, put a little transition effect, and there you go. There you have it. But if you're new to this and you don't know how I do it on a tier list every week, ranking each club's performance for that round, not for the season. I want to stress it's for the round. So top of the tier list is elite. Then it goes contenders, decent, disappointing, and 5am St Kilda Beach. So without further ado, let's get into reviewing it, starting off with the Thursday night matchup between Port Adelaide and Carlton. Let's go. Things just went from bad to worse for Carlton as they suffered a big loss on Thursday night to Port Adelaide by 50 points, 16-14, 110 to 8-12-60. And we saw what the Carlton fans thought of that. Putting their graffiti, do not condone any of that. But it was a big loss by means, and it's interesting to see what this happens for Michael Voss. Georgiades was the star up forward for Carlton and really came into his own this season, showing what a predicament talent he is. He kicked 5, Rioli kicked 3, Burn Jones kicked 2, and Bergman was magnificent, playing that more midfield role now, playing on Cripps as well. He kicked 2. Fantasia, the only multiple goal scorer up for Carlton with 2. As for disposals, Rosie was his normal best off halfback, had 30, gone at 90% efficiency, 11 marks, 10 rebound 50s, but also had 8 score involvement. So using the ball really well down there. Butters inside, as always, 36 clearances, 9 inside 50, 4 goal assists, 12 score involvements, and 580 metres gain. As I mentioned, Bergman also playing on Paddy Cripps, had 25, 2 goals, 5 clearances. Now, this is the damning factor on Carlton. They only had one player for the whole match that, as I readjust, only had one man for the match that went over 20 disposals, and that was George Hewitt, who's had a really good year, might I add. He had 21 and 9 tackles, but only one player to get over 20 disposals is actually pretty disgusting when you think about it. It's a really poor effort. A lot of stuff going down there at Carlton, and they only managed to score 1 goal before halftime. So as I mentioned, it wasn't a great Thursday night matchup. Mitch Georgiades kicked 4 goals in the first half, and it just showed that Jacob Wiedering wasn't right. He came in with an injury cloud from last game, and he just wasn't right. Just couldn't keep up with him. Zach Butters provided plenty of drive for the midfield, and is Dante Visitini in trouble for his hit on Adam Sard? Now, I don't think it was that bad because I thought Sard more ran into him, so he just kind of appeared there and just happened to run into him, but he has got him high. Sard did go off. So we know how the MRO like to give it any high hits nowadays. They more than likely not give at least a week. So it'll be interesting to see that. But Port Adelaide just put the foot to the fray. I'm going to put them in elite, and I'm going to put Carlton in no other spot than 5am St Kilda Beach. Then we move over to Friday night, and what a game this ended up being at Sydney Swans v Western Bulldogs at the SCG, and it was the Bulldogs in Bont's 250th game getting the job done by 9 points, 14-12-96, defeated by 16-9, 105. Heaney kicked 5 and was the star, really showing his X factor after a really quiet first half. Came out in the third quarter and played more of a deep forward role and kicked 4 and showed what a damaging player he is. 5. Papley kicked 2. Joel Frazier having a breakout season, but even more of a breakout game. He kicked 4 to go on with 23 disposals, 3 of those goals coming in the third quarter. Norton kicked 3, Darcy kicked 3, and Kennedy kicked 2 as well. Well, it's official. Goulden's back. He had 30, going 83% efficiency, just the normal Goulden we know. Blakey had 24. Grundy was huge, 23, 43 hit-outs to go on the goal and 11 score involvements. Bramble was good for the Doggies, leading the way, 28 disposals, a goal and 653 metres gain. Dale had 25, and Sanders had his highest ranked game of his career with 25, going 92% efficiency, 2 goal assists and 8 score involvements. But the biggest talking point, the biggest talking point out of this game is the SCG Turf. How can they, the blokes going out there, the players going out there are elite sportsmen. How can you allow elite sportsmen to go out and play on turf like that? We saw them slipping everywhere. We saw turf getting ripped up. It was an ACL or at least a serious injury waiting to happen. It was not safe out there. And it's getting to the point where you wouldn't blame for a club to turn around and nearly put in a complaint to refuse to almost play there. Like, that's not going to happen. Let's not beat around the bush. That's not going to happen. But you wouldn't argue with a club putting the question going, I don't feel safe putting my players out there with a turf like that. It's actually disgraceful, and the AFL need to step in and figure something out, get it fixed up. I don't know what they're going to do, but you can't have elite sportsmen going out, risking their bodies on the line, as they already are in a contact sport, and with them worrying that just a change of direction, they're going to do an ACL because the turf rips up. It's just disgusting, and the AFL and the SCG need to get a handle on this real quick. We mentioned Isaac Heaney. We mentioned Joel Frazier. The Swans set shots didn't improve at all and probably did cost them the game in the end. They kicked 4 goals, 10 from set shots. So again, they'll have to go on it. Bont's 250, if we did mention that, what a career Bont had, will probably go down as the greatest Western Bulldogs player ever. James Jordan had a really good role, shut down on Ed Richards, keeping him to 16 disposals. And Tom Papley, This was really funny watching Tom Papley just instigate Sam Darcy before the opening bounce and really just go at him. It was like, so Sam Darcy's nearly 7 foot. Tom Papley they'd have their height still on there now, but I want to get this up. So if we have a look, we go over Tom Papley, 177 centimetres. He tried to go at Sam Darcy. Now let's get Sam Darcy's height. They've got him written down as 208. It was funny him just trying to watch him just try and grab him, and then Darcy just kind of laughing, pushing him back and threw him away. And let's say the trash pan up, Tom Papley didn't come out on top at all either. He was just thrown up like a rag doll. Just typical Papley instigating stuff, but it was just really funny to watch. I think they both deserve to go in contenders. I can't quite put both of them in elite, but I'm going to put them both in contenders on the same level. Now we move over to Saturday. The Saturday game between Gold Coast and Melbourne at People First Stadium. And it was the Gold Coast Suns who got the job done here by 19 points, 15-14, 84, defeating Melbourne's 12-13, 85. And it was an interesting game, a bit closer than what people would have expected. The Gold Coast Suns snapped a 3-game losing streak and have put themselves back in the top 8. King kicked 3, Humphrey, Ainsworth, Long, and Walter all kicked 2. Melksham had a really almost day. We'll talk about that in a second. He kicked 5. Pickett was enormous with 3, and Fritsch kicked 2. Noble off the half-back line, 29 disposals, 90% efficiency, 624 metres gain. Flanders was huge, 28, 7 score moments. And Anderson, after a slow start, picked up his game and had 27 and 7 score involvements. Petrarca was big with 32, 7 clearances and 10 score involvements. Rivers had 27. Bowie, 28 at 88% efficiency. We mentioned Pickett. He was huge. He had 25 disposals, 14 of them contested, 3 goals, 5 clearances, 3 goal assists, and 9 score involvements. That's the type of Pickett that they expected to have when they signed him to that long contract. And so far, he is living up to that name. Very happy I got him in my Supercoach team a few weeks back, but he's just electric coming out of there, and he constantly hits the scoreboard, which is really good to see. Matt Rowell, another person who signed a contract during the week. Matt Rowell signed a 2-year contract extension for the Suns, which will take him to free agency. And he showed why he's such a crucial member of that Gold Coast Suns team. He had 24 disposals, but he had 12 clearances and 11 tackles to go on with it, so it was very good. Harrison Petty went off with a concussion. We don't like seeing concussions, but is Braden Fiorini in trouble? I think, unlike the Dante Vicentini one, I think he might be there because he does go you know this type of suspension that they have given out previously in the past. He does go low, collect him high. So I think Braden Fiorini might have a case to answer to there, as stiff as it may sound. Jacob Melksham has an up and down and almost day. He kicked 5 goals, 6. Had 18 disposals and 8 marks. Imagine he had 11 scoring shots and only managed to kick 5. So it was just an almost. And at the end of the day, it could be it's probably the reason why Melbourne didn't get the job done in the end. Clayton Oliver's bloodbath had it collected pretty much head on head with Took Miller, and then was left with blood everywhere pouring from his head. Came out and was not duct tape, had all just tape around him from every which way on his face. Was unbelievable. And Took Miller also had a fair bit of blood coming down the side of his face too. The Suns came out early and dominated. They had 22 inside 50s to 6. So that's where Melbourne needed. Were really left behind, just that jump. But they only let through 5 goals, but Melbourne weren't able to put a goal on themselves, so that was really poor to see. Stephen May's high kick on Ben Dade sparked a pretty decent brawl in the third quarter, and we saw Ben King come in and remonstrate with him, but then it was Clayton Oliver and a few others, Jack Viney really getting into it amongst on the ground, really having a go at each other. It was actually quite good viewing, if I'm being quite honest. As for this, I'm going to put Gold Coast Suns. I'm gonna put them both. I think I'm gonna put them both in decent, because it's a game that Gold Coast Suns should have won, and they did, but they didn't win hugely convincingly. So I'm just gonna put them in decent for now. Now, the Hawks versus North Melbourne, and I don't want to spend too much time talking about this game because it was just an absolute thrashing. But Hawthorn straight and elite. It's pretty self-explanatory, and North Melbourne. 5 a.m. St Kilda Beach. It was the Hawks who got the job done by 85 points. Gunston shows him that the old boy's still got it. He's had a really good season, actually. He kicked 7. Chol's another one who's had a really good season. He kicked 5 to take his tally to the season for 30 goals. He sits 10th for the season. 10th in the competition for the season is what I was trying to say. Watson also kicked 3. It did see him spend a centre bounce time as well, and we saw him kick that really good goal after getting that centre bounce clearance. Gave a handball, got the handball back, and finished with class. Ramsden kicked 3. McDonald and Ginnivan also kicked 2. Larkey battled hard all day. He kicked 5. Amon had 33, going 85% efficiency and 782 metres gained. Newcomb had 27 and 9 clearances. McKercher had 34, going 82% efficiency. I've mentioned Parker. He's been good for the Kangaroos, though. 29, 6 clearances, 703 metres gained. David Uniacke had 28 and 10 clearances, and Daniel had 26. But what the hell, the Kangaroos? What the hell? You gave us so much hope. We thought you would start. We get this type of stuff's going to happen, but you weren't even competitive. It's just really disappointing to see. I get we're going to get this with young sides, but this type of showing is absolutely appalling. We thought they were starting to hit a new road, find a new way to play. We thought they were finally starting to go up, and then they deliver a performance like this. I'll cop if they lose by 7 or 8 goals. I'm not copping 85 points. Come on, guys. It's just really disappointing to see. But as I mentioned, Hawthorn in elite, and Kangaroos at 5 a.m. St Kilda Beach. Now, the last game of the games that have been played right now, Saturday night, was Collingwood and West Coast at Marvel Stadium, and it was the Pies getting the job done by 29 points, 13-10-88, defeating 8-11-59. But the Eagles were impressively good. They applied some really good pressure. Were in it for the majority of the game, really. Myercheck kicked 2, Lipinski kicked 2, and Membry kicked 2. Brockman, the only multiple goal scorer for the Eagles, with 2. Nick Daicos had 34, a goal, 5 clearances, 9 inside 50s, 9 scoring goals, and 707 metres gained. Josh Daicos had 30, got 7 intercepts. Pendlebury was enormous, probably gets the 3 votes. 28, a goal, 9 clearances, 10 inside 50s, 2 goal assists, and 8 score moments. And Chris had 27. Baker, playing off halfback, was good. 35, 10 intercepts and 6 tackles. McCarthy continues since being picked up as a mid-season draft. 29, 639 metres gained. Hoff battled hard, playing a bit of a role. And Nick Daicos as well for the middle. 27, 6 clearances, 7 score moments, while Duggan also had 27. 77, 621 metres gained. Now, I mentioned Pendlebury, he probably gets the 3 votes. He's just all class. He definitely goes on next year. He breaks, I'm saying he breaks the all-time games record. He's probably the best Magpie to ever do it, even though he doesn't have a Brownlow. Buckley has come out and said he's the best Magpie to do it. So let me know if you think Pennebury is the best Magpie to do it. It was good to see Charlie West and Job Shanahan also have their moments in their debut games, kicking their first goals. Obviously, people that have done it the hard way. Charlie West has had to wait a while. Job Shanahan, I believe, might have been a mid-season because I'm pretty sure he's a little bit mature, older. If we have a look here, we go down. Oh, no. So he was drafted this year, 18. But, yeah, on debut, good size, 195 centimetres. But it was really good to see. It's always good to see a debutant kick a goal in their first game. Nick Daicos. Now, anyone that knows me, Collingwood supporter. And you know how much I love Nick Daicos. Love him as a player. I think he's a superstar, probably the best player in the competition. There's one critique I think I might have on him, and this really hurts to say. But does Nick Daicos currently have a bit of a problem with his set shots? He kicked 1 goal 3 and missed a couple of set shots that he really should have put away. On the run, he's all class. That goal he kicked and his work rate was enormous. Running through, getting the handball back. If you watch the behind the footage from the Fox Footy coverage, you can see how hard he worked to get that handball and finish off. And Brady Hoff was there with him, but he just absolutely outworked him and outran him and ran him to the ground. But set shots are something I think Nick Daicos needs to work on because he gets so much opportunity in that front half of the ground. 4 scoring shots, only managing to kick the 1 goal. I think that's just something that if there is a flaw in Nick Daicos' game, that's the only thing I can pick up is possibly his set shots and his kicking in front of goals because he definitely has games where he'll kick 2, but he'll also kick 2 behinds. But then the ones he misses, it's ones he really should be nailing. So that's the only critique I could think of Nick Daicos. By all means, everyone knows how much I love him though. As I mentioned, West Coast came out firing and did fought hard. I'm going to put them both in decent because I don't think it was anything outstanding, not contenders. West Coast is going to put you in decent. But there you have it, guys. There are my rankings for the games that have already been played. Tune in Monday. It'll probably be out Monday night, if not Tuesday morning, where I'll go over the Sunday games. And until then, I'll see you guys Monday, which will be just as you hear it in a second. See you then. Yes, guys. Okay, so welcome back. It is the Monday now. We have just witnessed, obviously yesterday witnessed the 2 games that were played yesterday, being Adelaide and Richmond and Fremantle and St Kilda. So we'll quickly go over those 2 games. Thankfully, it's the end of the bye round. We'll quickly go over those 2 games, and then we'll also go over to see how the ladder is sitting after round 16. So without further ado, let's get into the games. The first game of Sunday, which was Adelaide and Richmond. All right, so Adelaide v Richmond, and the Crows continued the show to continue to fight and prove that they are a team to play with. Obviously, getting the 68-point victory over the Richmond Football Club over the weekend. 8-6-54, defeated by 18-14, 122. Jasper Alga showed some really good signs, kicking 2 for the Tigers. Thilthorpe kicked 5. Michelini, who played a defensive forward role this week on Nick Vlaston, managed to kick 3. Prior to this game, Max Michelini had only kicked 1 goal in his whole AFL career, obviously early in his career, but then he's managed to put through 3 today, showing the versatility that he has in his game. Rochelle also kicked 2 before being subbed off. Walker and Daniel Curtin kicked 2 as well. We'll talk on Dan Curtin in a second. For the Tigers, Prestia had 29 and 7 clearances, while Hopper had 28. Malira was excellent off halfback, 27, going to 82% efficiency, 11 marks and 8 intercepts. Curtin, as we mentioned, is his best game to date, obviously in his first season, but playing more of the wing role now instead of the forward. He had 26, going at 81% efficiency, 2 goals, 8 marks, 8 intercepts, 7 inside 50s, 3 goal assists, and 11 score rolls. An excellent game by Daniel Curtin, showing why he was so highly rated when coming into this draft class, why Adelaide really wanted to get a hold of him. And obviously, there was questions why they would use him as a forward when they've already got Thilthorpe, Fogarty, and Walker down there. And he came in as a player who could play both ends of the ground, but predominantly made his name at the... I want to say the Waffle was the Waffle of the Stanford. I'm just going to, I believe it was I'm going to quickly search that up. So in the Waffle, he played as an intercepting defender and even ran through a bit of the midfield in his TAC Cup as well. But showing the versatility he has, I'm very excited to see Dan Curtin develop into a really good player. Next one we have also was really good was Dawson, the skipper, 26, 7 clearances, 6 tackles. Laird, also of halfback, had 26, 85% efficiency, 8 marks, and 7 scoring moments. But we've all heard about it, but it'd be stupid not to talk about it. Tommy Lynch, have a spell, mate. What in the hell was he thinking? He virtually had a swing at Jordan Butts. He turned around and he's lucky he didn't connect. If he connected that, Butts was knocked out cold and it was virtually a king here. And who knows what could have happened. To be honest, if a player did that, to my teammate, you wouldn't be against a player just throwing the fines out the window and going in and not advocating going and punching him, but he's just seen his own teammate get turned around, king hit with a full-on fist. You're going to let that slide? I don't think so. We saw a ball over. Tom Lynch, I expect him to get... I heard Xander Maguire say today, I think it was over 4 to 6 or 5 to 6 weeks on the sidelines, and he's just been a real angry player this year. I was going to say Daniel Curtin. Tom Lynch, really, really poor to see as a senior leader of that in a young side. Should be leading by example, and he's lashing out like that, and it's happened too often this season. Really poor moment from Tom Lynch there. So, Tommy Lynch, have a spell, mate. But one of another one was a sad time was McKelty Lafau returned from an ACL after he showed some really good signs in that last year when he was playing as a forward until he did his ACL. Obviously came across from a rugby background. But then he suffered a calf injury halfway through the second quarter and was happy to be subbed out. So it was not a return game that he would have liked to remember. We always like those stories when a player comes back from an ACL and gets to play their first game, but it wasn't the fairy tale story that he or his family or his teammates Richmond would have been hoping for. As for the rankings, Richmond were... I'm just going to put him just in point, not quite there. And Crows, I'm going to put him in contenders, not quite elite. I'm going to put him in contenders, I think. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with contenders. And the last game of the round was the Dockers v the Saints at Optus Stadium, and the Dockers getting the win in the end by just the 12 points, 11-15-81 defeating the Saints, an inaccurate kick in Saints, 9-15-69. Josh Tracy kicked 3, Jackson kicked 2. As for the Saints, Keilor kicked the 2. Dockers, Clark was magnificent off halfback, really liking his season. Obviously, I was a bit critical of him earlier on, just the fact that he wasn't. We know the speed that he has, but it was more the Freo defense I was more critical of, the way they would just kick it around. I love seeing him take the game on because he uses the ball beautifully, and he's got that elite speed as well. We saw that here with 31, but also pushing forward to kick a goal. Had the 10 marks and 14 intercepts. And Brayshaw also battled hard with 25 and 7 scorers. Wanganeen Malira continued what he does with 28, a goal, 10 rebound 50s, and 796 metres gain. I'm really liking how Wanganeen Malira is now also hitting the scoreboard. Well, McRae also battled hard with 26, 15 contested, and 7 scorers. The Darcy and Jackson worked reasonably well together against Marshall in the end, especially when the game was on the line. Darcy had 41 hit-outs, 17 disposals, a goal and 7 clearances, while Jackson had the 16 hit-outs, 15 disposals, but when the game was there to be won, he kicked 2 crucial goals, which was really good to see. But positive side for the Saints, Hugo Garcia played a good role on Caleb Sarong and collected plenty of footy stuff. Nullified, we know how damaging Sarong is with his contested footy. He just nullified Sarong to just 18 touches while collecting 24 disposals himself, Garcia, and 10 clearances. As for the matches, I'm going to put the Dockers in contenders and the Saints in decent. Well, there you have it, guys. There are my rankings for round 16. Let's quickly go over how I've ranked every team before we go over and have a look at... You know what? Scratch that. We'll come back and have a look at that in a second. But first, let's go have a look at the ladder. So as we speak, the ladder, on top of the ladder, it is the Collingwood Magpies, who are 2 games or 10 points clear of second place. Brisbane, 42 points. Adelaide Crows in 3rd on 40. Geelong in 4th on 40. The Hawks in 5th on 40 as well. And Freo are in 6th on 40. The Bulldogs and Gold Coast Suns are 7th and 8th on 36. Also on 36 in 9th place is GWS. And they are 2 games clear of 10th place Port Adelaide, who are making a little bit of a run late with 28 points. They've jumped to the ladder. Carlton have dropped down to 11th on 24. Sydney and Essendon are 12th and 13th, also on 24. Melbourne, disappointing season for Melbourne, are 14th for 20 points. 15th is St Kilda, also on 20. North in 16th on 18. The Tigers, 17th on 12. And bottom of the ladder, West Coast, with just the win. So that's how the ladder sits as we end the round 16 action. Let's go back and have a look how I ranked every team's rankings. So elite, we've got Port Adelaide and Hawthorn. Contenders, I've got Sydney, the Bulldogs, Adelaide and Fremantle. Decent, I have Gold Coast Suns, Melbourne, Collingwood, West Coast and St Kilda. Disappointing, I have Richmond and 5am St Kilda Beach. I got Carlton and North Melbourne. Well, that's all we've got here for you guys today. Thank you guys for listening. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to leave a like and comment on this video. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss an upload, and hit that subscribe button as we keep climbing up those subscriber counts. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, make sure to leave a like and comment on this video. Turn the notification bell on so you don't miss an upload. Hit that follow button, and most importantly, guys, please leave a 5-star rating, as that just does help push the show out there. Thank you guys for listening, and until next time, I'll see you guys then.